These are micro adjust belts, handmade right here in the shop by us. Premium leather, solid brass hardware, and the rounded buckle so it doesn't dig into your gut all day. But what is micro adjust? Well, the one problem everyone always has with their belts is one hole's too tight, one's too loose. These little adjustments right here allow you to adjust your belt by 1/2 inch increments so it fits you exactly how you want for the lifetime of the belt. So check them out below. This is one of the coolest boots in all of military footwear history. And yet it's almost been lost to the sands of times. Very few people actually make the real monkey boot. You can buy plenty of the other style monkey boots, but none of them are truly the original monkey boot, where it almost combines the whole cut values and aspects of the Danner Mountain boots. It combines the ruggedness of a military boot with their luggy outsole, but the height and the flexibility of a regular sneaker. And these were designed by the Czechoslovakian army. And after World War II, all the surplus got distributed across all of Europe, including into England, where it was adopted by skinheads, all the punk subcultures, to be this iconic boot of English counterculture and anti-authority. But now in 2026, there's really only 3 on the market that you can actually buy, and they're all various qualities. We just cut apart all of them for the research for this video in the last video, so go watch that if you want to see 3 historical, 3 modern monkey boots that you can buy. And all that research was preparation for dropping the Goral Monkey Boot collaboration. So we're gonna cut these in half, run through all of our tests to really figure out what we did to make this the evolution of the monkey boot. Did we pull it off? Did we keep all the most important attributes? Did we make it better? And ultimately why the monkey boot is the most forgotten, slept on, but one of the coolest boots in all military history. So first, what is this boot? Well, this version is in the new lightning core or yellow core leather, that bright yellow popping through in the high wear areas. And this is simulating a lot of use, you know, because part of the inspiration for the blood core leathers was Doc Marten and Solivare and their rub off leathers. I just wanted one that you couldn't just rub off with a cloth. You had to actually earn it. You had to burn through it. You had to wear through it. You had to tear through it. You really had to put the product through the ringer to really show that bright core popping underneath. And I think it turned out so sick. So the brand is Goral X Rose Anvil. The style is the monkey boot. They weigh a surprisingly light 1 pound 3 ounces. So that's compared to all these other monkey boots. So that's one thing I really wanted to nail. I wanted it to be super lightweight and feel like the monkey boot. And part of that's through the outsole and this midsole layer. I'll show you when we get cut in half. They retail for this much, depending on which leather color you get. And these are made by Goral in England. And the way we position this boot is basically this whole video, because this is a full breakdown of what we did, why we did it, what are the values of it. And you can get it in the classic chrome excels with the brown and the natural. And obviously, where is it? We had to bring it back in the true original blood core with the red through the core and the lightning core. So now I'll start going through the details of this, starting with the leather, because this is our blood core leather. It's a Latigo base, so it's really saturated with oil, so it's gonna be really soft and supple. It's gonna break in fairly easily. It's gonna be a low maintenance leather because Latigo was designed for saddles. They needed a style of leather that could hold the entire saddle on the horse's belly with one single cinch strap. And there was veg tan leather they used in the whole seat of the saddle, super durable, it shapes to the shape of your butt. It gives you support, but it can be really fragile and it's susceptible to a lot of moisture, splitting and cracking. And so they developed Latigo, which was just completely packed and infused with waxes and oils and water repellent compounds to make it not just sweat resistant, weather resistant, but also tear resistant. Because when you think about a horse and all that pressure of a horse breathing on its chest, you think of all the weight of the rider on the saddle, it's like a 2-inch strap that holds the entire saddle and the rider on the horse. And so that's why I wanted to do this Latigo base, because I didn't want it just to be a cheap leather. I wanted it to be as durable as possible so you could actually wear through it without the leather failing before you actually get to the cool color of that core. This leather comes in about 2.2 to 2.5 millimeters thick, and we ran the puncture test, really good results, 118 pounds to puncture through. And you can see how much abuse it actually takes to wear through that, because this boot's brand new, and this one I artificially aged. I took it on a bunch of hikes. I've been wearing it a bunch, and you can see how well this leather ages, even when you're literally sanding down to the core. I love this leather. We designed it. It's an exclusive leather we designed with Seidel. Seidel's been super cool about keeping it exclusive with us. And you also got the chrome excels. We've covered chrome excel plenty of times. It's one of the most famous leathers in the world, especially this. I love this natural chrome excel because it just is a patina machine. It absorbs all your oils. It shows all the scuffs and scratches, but it's similar to Latigo, where there's tons of oils and conditioner packed into it. So it's self-conditioning. It wears really beautifully. And that patina, because it's a really aniline finish, you don't have a plastic top coat on top like the Docs, where when you start wearing through this, it starts flaking off rather than wearing through, because this isn't a plastic cover on top. This is literally dyed the top layer of leather. So you have to wear through the leather rather than a plastic coat. But the point I was trying to get at was because it's just a flat sheet on top, you don't get that depth of patina. You don't see all the highlights and lowlights. You don't see the gradient of color that you would see in a Chrome XL. And that's why people love this leather, because it looks really good initially, but the real value is when you actually start wearing it, when you really start to get that patina and all that use. And that's why everyone loves Chrome XL. You can see on the inside, we lined the whole boot with a leather lining, just a classic Goral lining, about 1.2 millimeters thick. Then if we look underneath, it with just a very basic insole, just leather topped with the same chrome tan lining leather with a little bit of foam underneath and a little extra patch in the heel. But underneath is really what makes the Goral special. And that's why I really want to do this with Goral, because if you look in there, you can see that's a veg tan lasting board. And if you look at the boot that's closest to the original, I don't know where the hell, there it is. This is the boot that we found was as close to the original as we could. It might be the original. I just don't know for sure because there's so little information about monkey boots online. But you can see you're standing on that veg tan insole. And so we had to do the veg tan insole. And that's part of why I wanted to do Goral, because I didn't want to just do a stitch down construction and make it like everyone else's. I wanted to maintain that veg tan insole, but evolve the idea while keeping the flexibility. And so that's why this Blake stitch construction, it's a heritage construction similar to a stitch down because it's still sewn in, but instead of the upper being flared out and stitched around the perimeter of the boot, it's tucked in, and then that veg tan lasting board seals it together, and then a stitch is run around it so it's completely locked in. And so what that does is you don't have that extra material like a Goodyear welt construction causing it to be extra rigid. This is about as flexible as a board lasted shoe, which, you know, it's not as flexible as a shoe, but this compared to, I don't have, oh, we got one. The Danner mountain boot, see, I can barely flex that. And I did not want these boots to be like a mountain boot. I wanted to be truly original in how they felt. I wanted to be flexible, I want to be lightweight, and keep that veg tan insole. And so Goral ended up being the perfect collaborator for this. But what's interesting, and there's gonna be some people that are upset about this, is because it's a Blake stitch construction, is when you tuck that upper underneath, it's not a complete 90-degree sidewall, it's rolled in. So when you're trying to glue on an outsole, you don't have a solid edge that secures that outsole on. It can slowly rip off fairly easily if it's just glued on. And so this looks like a leather midsole, but once again, I didn't want this to be a super rigid boot. So instead of running a midsole all the way through and sewing through that, this is more of a rand. So you know, in like a lot of heritage boots, you've got that little cap that runs around the heel. They call that a rand. This is basically the exact same thing, but it wraps all the way around the shoe. So this is not a welt. It's not a midsole. It's a rand that fills in that gap from that upper being curled under, so that you can't separate it nearly as easily. And it still gives it that heritage look without making it so flexible that you can't actually wear them like a pair of sneakers. Some people are gonna dislike that, but in order to do the Blake stitch the right way and get the wedge sole on there, that's the only way to do it. And I wanted to keep that wedge sole look instead of doing a cup sole, because we did a sample on a cup sole. It looked really cool, and maybe down the road we'll do like a monkey smug where it's completely unlined, it just has all the smug stuff, but it's a cup sole. But it didn't hit the mark enough for me. I wanted it to really look like a monkey boot and really kind of embody that wedge sole look. And then where we really found some weight savings is in this wedge sole, because this is a Vibram wedge sole. It looks just like the Christie, but it's the Moreflex. This wedge sole is made out of EVA instead of that blown rubber, so it's way lighter. It's gonna be fairly abrasion resistant because it's rubber, even though it's thicker and it's harder and it's heavier, it wears down fairly quick compared to these EVA style outsoles. And they're significantly lighter. So that's why we basically kept this boot at 1 pound, even though it looks like a big, chunky, heavy duty boot with thick leather, fully lined. That's how we found those weight savings. Because if you compare it to the weight of all the other monkey boots, you know, that's right where you wanna be, rather than, you know, like the upper echelon of weight, the Pacific Northwest brands that weigh like 3.5 pounds each. And so I think we nailed that exactly how we wanted to do it. And just overall, I think this pattern turned out really, really good. You can see we didn't do the asymmetrical counter like on the docks, where it had it on one side. I like the idea of keeping it really clean, which is having a regular panel on both sides. I almost even removed the M stitch, but I think it has to be done. It's a monkey boot, it's part of the whole story of it, and I think that stitch was actually made to lock in the lining, but now it's basically a decorative stitch. And I don't really know, there's so little information online about the original monkey boots that everyone's just kind of guessing. So now let's cut these in half, see what's on the inside, and I'll show you what I meant by that rand and how all that tucks underneath and how that Blake stitch sews and locks everything together. Okay, we got the Goral Monkey Boot cut in half. So if you do want a pair of these, they might be sold out by now, because they launched on Thursday, but I wanted to do the whole big monkey boot video for the launch just to give the context to it. And I just didn't want a lot of pressure on this video, because I just wanted to go through the details and show you what it is rather than like telling the whole monkey boot story and getting all that rolled into it. I wanted this to be a pretty self-enclosed look at the shoe itself that we designed. Then you have all the other information from the other video. So go watch that if you haven't seen it. And if these are sold out, just get on the limited edition email list, because that's how you get early access before even the public launch, where you get all the sizing information, you know when they're gonna launch and how they're gonna launch. That's how you can guarantee yourself a pair next time. So now, let's see what's inside. Perfect timing, Vinsel. Embarrass me in front of all my friends. So look at that, love that big veg tan slab all the way through, and Goral always puts a little bit of a fiberboard underneath of it. You can see there is a steel shank in there, which is pretty different from all the other original monkey boots, but I wanted just a little bit more structure in there. You know, it's still really flexible, it's still really lightweight, but I just didn't want it to be so loose that it was unsupportive, so we put a steel shank in there. And because there's a steel shank, you gotta add that fiberboard underneath of it to support that shank so it doesn't push through the bottom of the boot when you're wearing it, or push it up through the boot. So you have to have that shank enclosed with those two materials for anti-squeak, for rigidity, and to make sure that that shank doesn't push through any part of the boot. Now you can really see that Blake stitch that Goral is known for. And you can see on the edge right here, there's that rand, and you can see that rand doesn't go underneath the boot, but that upper does tuck underneath the boot, and then that Blake stitch sews down through that insole into that upper that's tucked underneath, and that's how it's all encapsulated and sewn in there. So when you do need to resole these, all the cobbler has to do is peel the old outsole off and glue the new one on. Because without a Blake stitch, there's a chance the whole thing comes undone and it comes unglued, and you've got to relast it, you got to rework it, where any cobbler that's any decent should be able to, within half an hour, put a new outsole on for you. And that's the other part of this, is we could have sewn through like the outsole and locked it all into place, but then you wear through the outsole, and then it's another big pain in the butt to resole. And you can also see that classic Goral yellow wool that they put underneath of there, which I just love for the yellow core. This little secret hidden yellow bit on the inside. But for the most part, it's a very simple shoe. Like if you compare this to any other board lasted sneakers, like some of the New Balances, it's basically the exact same construction, but we glued on a wedge sole instead of a cup sole. And that's how we kept all the flexibility of a sneaker, the feel of a sneaker, the weight of a sneaker, but still making it feel more like a boot, make it look more like a boot, and have the support of a boot by having that shank on the inside. And so I think we nailed it. I think it's right in that sweet spot, because you know, we could have done a true like remake of the original and maybe had one of the Pacific Northwest brands do this. But you know, there's some on the market you can buy. There's the Doc Martens. You can buy these for pretty cheap. You can buy the Grafters still. And they're all basically the same stitch down construction. They look the same. And when there's something you can already buy in the market, I lean towards doing something really original, really different, and evolving the idea, especially it being Goral being an English brand. Like this boot was popularized in England. So to have it remade in England, evolve it to the modern era of 80 years of progress of materials and construction techniques and the precision of manufacturing that we have now. Still, I'm not opposed to recreating this one as is, especially after doing this whole series and doing the whole cut in half of all the other ones. I still think it could be a really cool collaboration, but this is truly original. This is really unique, and that's what made me excited about it. So if you do want a pair of these monkey boots, check them out below. Go watch the other video where we cut apart 3 of the historical ones, 3 of the modern ones, just to round out this information, because it's pretty pricey. You know, at the end of the day, we went all out and tried to make it as good as humanly possible, and it has all the veg tan components, the leather lining, all these things. But if you're just looking for a cheap $70 monkey boot, these Grafters have the look, but they just don't have all the value that was in the original. Thank you guys for watching. Check out these below and let me know what you think of the collaboration. And don't forget, we also dropped the yellow or lightning core in all of our products. You can get a matching belt. You can get these matching laces. If you're one of the first 100 buyers, you get a free pair of the yellow laces. And so thank you guys for all the support. It's so fun to do this. And I love historical military boots. They're so good. So thank you guys. See ya.